Kisselle.
And this is Red Lips and Redemption, and today's episode is on friends.
Hey, friendship. Okay. I am going to start us off in Ecclesiastes 9 through 12. And it's going to be, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their efforts. For if either falls, his companion can lift him up, but pity the one who falls without another to lift him up. Also, if 2 lie down together, they can keep warm, but how can one person keep warm? If someone overpowers one person, 2 can resist him. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. Hey God, I just want to say thank you for being such a wonderful friend. Then thank you for setting the example for us to be wonderful friends in your name. Thank you for showing us how to be a good friend, showing us how to accept friendship, whether it be from you and from others. God, I pray that whoever's hearing this takes those paths that you have already set out for us and to walk on them following you. Lord, we love you. We praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Gorgeous.
All right.
To touch on the cord of 3 strands, I wanted to read in Matthew. It's starting in verse 19, ending in 20. So it's Matthew 18:19 through 20. Again, truly I tell you, if 2 of you on earth agree about any matter, pray for it. It will be done for you by my Father in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there among them. I think it's such a beautiful verse. Just so many times continually in the Bible where Jesus says that 2 are better than 1.
Mm-hmm.
That, 2 or 3 gathered in my name, or a cord of 3 strands isn't broken. He knows it's so important for us to be in community with one another and have friendships, like deep, intimate friendships, not only with each other, but with him.
Mm-hmm. And I think a really good way that Jesus kind of reveals himself, he often does, is through other people, through wise counsel, through community, through all those things. There's so much importance in being a part of a church or being a part of a community, being a part of something that brings you closer to God, because like you said, we were never meant to do this alone. And in the same way, that's why he sent Jesus down, to be that example, to show like there's so much power in community, and why Jesus had the 12 disciples. I mean, otherwise he would have done it alone if there wasn't strength in that. If even God's one and only son needed those friends and those companions, those people, that fellowship, I don't think there would be such a stress, or there would be a lack of how much God is saying it's important to be in fellowship if it wasn't so needed. But like you said, it's so adamant throughout the word that we need people around us. We need people to be our strength. In so many stories, I mean, with Job, he has his friends there. In the book of Ruth, there's friendship there. I don't think there's a single story where you won't find some type of fellowship or companionship, because God has blessed us so beautifully with that. And in, like you're saying in Matthew, and it's talking about prayer, how I think he does emphasize, if 2 of you agree on a matter, pray for it and it will be done. How important it is for us in friendship to be praying for each other and with each other all the time.
Yeah, in John 17, Jesus prays. That whole chapter is about him praying for everyone before he is moving on. So we can turn there really quick. So each section is broken down. He prays for himself, he prays for his disciples, and then he prays for everyone. And it's just so beautiful the way that it's so important to him that he prays for the people that he loves. He says, I pray for them. I am not praying for the world, but for those you have given me, because they are yours. Everything I have is yours, and everything you have is mine, and I am glorified in them. I am no longer in the world, but they are in the world, and I am coming to you. Holy Father, protect them by your name that you have given me, so that they may be one as we are one. So before he is leaving, and he knows and is anticipating his death, he is asking his Father, please protect them. They are mine. Through me, protect them with my name, God, so that we may be one again. I think that's so beautiful. I think that's one of the most important things in your friendship. When you can't give anyone anything, you can pray for them on their behalf to like God. You can intercede for them in their life. You can be their strength and putting hands on your friends and praying over them and all the things that they are going through. Like it's like one of the things that brings you so close to people too. It's like that level of intimacy, that wall can be kind of pulled away.
I wanted to go back to how you're saying if you can't give them anything, give them prayer. But even if you could give them everything, you can give them prayer. In Luke 22:31, before Peter's gonna deny Jesus, Jesus says to Peter, "Simon, Simon, look out, Satan has asked to sift you like wheat, but I have prayed for you that your faith may not fail, and when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers." Even Jesus could have given him everything. He could have just completely changed that, but he decided to give him prayer. And there's such a beautiful and intimate, like you said, power in the prayer that when you have nothing and all you have is prayer, there is so much in that. And when you have everything and you give prayer, there is so much in that too. There's so much beauty in praying for your friends and being able to tell someone, "Hey, I'm praying for you," and knowing this person is praying for me. I mean, we've talked about this before. Sometimes we'll be praying over each other for things that I don't even know that you're praying over me for. You don't know that I'm praying over you for because you know we need it. Which I think that is a different level of intimacy in your friendship, and to be able to share in prayer with someone is such a beautiful thing. Even just a little act of praying over your food with someone when you're out to eat, thanking God for blessing it is so beautiful and such a sweet sign of friendship.
Yeah. I think too it's like a little way to say like I love you too. Like I'm praying for you. Like I love you. Like I care about you. Like you're in my prayers when no one else is around. I'm thinking about you. I'm making sure God knows that I'm speaking these things over you that you want to happen or that you're troubled with. I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah, you're right. It's a little say, "Hey, love you."
Love you.
Hey, which is so sweet.
And Jesus does. I mean, he literally is God himself, and he still is in constant communications. I think that also is an important note, is communication, praying not only for the people that you are in community with, like praying to your Father. That is the friendship that we have in Jesus. That direct line of communication that we have with him, that we know that we can lean on him as a friend. So I think that's like a beautiful thing. So you can rely on the fact that Jesus is your friend. Because when you're talking to him on behalf of other people or just on behalf of yourself, he communicates with you in like profound ways.
Also, in that, knowing that you're always going to have a friend listening to you. Always. Because Jesus he's an inexhaustible being. He's not going to get tired of hearing about the same thing that made you excited or the same thing that's hurting you. Whatever it be, you have a friend, and I mean, I have friends like this, you. I have friends like it's you, that I know I can talk to about the same thing over and over, and you won't get sick of it. And to know that Jesus is the same way, if not more, is such a sweet and just comforting experience. I think so often when we're praying, we're like, dang, I've already prayed about this a million times, but he'll listen to you like it's the first time. Like, when you're telling someone a story and you can tell, like, oh, I already told you this. And they're like, no, I've never heard this. That's Jesus every time. He's going to act like he's never heard it because he wants you to tell him again.
Yeah. Which is so beautiful. I think that too, what you were saying about sorrow, is bringing your sorrows before your friends and the things that are troubling you, so that you have someone to lean on, that you have that support. We are never meant to do this alone. And even though God is inexhaustible, like you said, he speaks through people. And so relying on people to build you up when you're going through hard things. I will always be here, obviously, to listen to you. And that's so important. Like, we need to be able to have the capacity to share in each other's sorrows, to share in each other's joys. We should be able to openly and honestly communicate with each other. Otherwise, what is the point? We are put on earth to love one another deeply. And I truly believe that when you care about someone, you make that happen for them, because Jesus has so many times. Like, he is the blueprint for what it looks like to love people deeply and share deeply in their sorrows so many times. I mean, even with the example of when he raised Lazarus from the dead and he empathized with Mary and Martha, to touch on it quickly. Like, he deeply empathizes, and we need to have that capacity. I truly believe when you walk with Christ, you love people no matter what, and you share in those things. And I would love to turn to John 15:13 to back that up for a minute. I'm going to actually read from 11. So I'll do John 15:11. I have told you these things so that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete. This is my command. Love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down his life for his friends. I love this verse, and we'll go back to it again. He laid down his life so that I may be spared and I can not be separated from God and I can be with him in heaven one day. Nobody's really asking you to lay down your life for your friends, but we can go the extra mile. That's Christ's whole thing, is extra mile mentality, to be there for one another and hold each other up.
In that also, you need to be a good friend and allow your friends to be good friends. You need to allow your friends to serve you. That, I think, is something that is so difficult for a lot of people, to accept that help, to accept being served. In John 13, this is a conversation between Peter and Jesus. He says, Jesus came to Simon Peter, who asked him, Lord, are you going to wash my feet? Jesus answered him, what I am doing you don't realize now, but after you will understand. You will never wash my feet, Peter said. Jesus replied, if I don't wash you, you have no part with me. Simon Peter told him, Lord, not only wash my feet, but my hands and my head. And I kind of really want to emphasize on Jesus says, if I don't wash you, you have no part with me. If you don't let your friends help you, you're taking away that ability for a deeper intimacy, a deeper connection, to share, like you said, in those burdens or in those joys. You have to be open to not only serving your friends, but allowing yourself to be served as your friends. If Jesus could come down and the disciples can let him wash their feet, you can allow your friends to help you. You can allow the people in your life to help you. In the same way, if Jesus comes down and is able to wash the disciples' feet, you can serve your friends. You can go that extra mile for them, like you're saying. No one's asking you to lay down your life, but you can go that extra mile, and you have to there's humility on both ends. And I truly believe humility is the key to sustaining any relationship. To take that humility on allowing yourself to be served, but also taking that humility on allowing yourself to serve others and having the desire to in that area.
I love that. I'm so fortunate because I know that our friendship has been such a beautiful, like, equal and abundance of reciprocity. Like, I'm so fortunate that I've never felt like you don't love me or you don't care for me in that way. And I know that I would do anything for you. And so in our friendship, I know that I have been waiting for this, praying for someone to see me for who I truly am and meet my needs in the ways that I need them. And I know that this friendship is completely blessed from God, truly. So.
Yeah. No, I would agree. Thank you. You're such a good friend. And I totally think that this friendship has been blessed by God. In that, I also don't want to say everything in this friendship has been so easy. I just think there are times where, I'm not saying we're ever like fighting or anything, because that's not really in our nature, but there are times where it's maybe a little bit more difficult for us to express that I need something, or that I need help here, or I need to express this. And you are so good at kind of not giving up on me immediately. Like, if I shut down, you're really good at not being like, writing me off, oh, whatever, she sucks, like that kind of thing. No, you're really good at like, okay, this is my friend. This isn't her nature, what's going on, and you're not giving up on me, and you're taking that extra step to either hold me accountable and like, hey, this behavior, I don't know what this is, let's not do this, or hey, this behavior is weird, why are we doing this, kind of thing. And that's something I really admire about you, is you're so adamant not to give up on your friendships when things get a little bit more difficult. And that is something truly Jesus has modeled for us time and time again. I'm not giving up on people when it gets difficult and when it's not exactly as you planned it or imagined it.
I think it's in friendships, it's so important that you bridge that gap.
Mm-hmm.
No one on earth is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to have a strength and a weakness, and there's so much to be had. That's what friendships are for, so that we can fill those gaps in, and that we can keep each other accountable and truly be able to build each other up and give each other grace. That's the whole point. That's the whole gospel message. I will never not do that. And I think that also comes with open and honest communication, being able to communicate with your friends deeply and utterly and not be shut out. That's so important.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like the not writing you off either, that's not what we're called to do. Definitely not. Like 70 times 7, like Jesus says it. And on forgiveness, John 21:15-17. I love this. So, for context, Peter has denied Jesus 3 times, and Jesus is here to restore him. So, starting in verse 15, chapter 21. When they had eaten breakfast, Jesus asked Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" In this context, he's using the word that is meant for love as agape. He says, "Yes, Lord," he said to him, "you know that I love you." And Peter replies with phileo. So agape meaning deep, utter, reverent love. And then Peter is replying with phileo, meaning brotherly love. So not as like the scale for agape is higher than the one for phileo.
Mm-hmm.
So then he asks him again, "Yes, Lord," he said to him, "you know that I love you," phileo. "Feed my lambs," he told him. A second time he asked him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" using the word agape for love. "Yes, Lord," he said to him, "you know that I, phileo, love you." "Shepherd my sheep," he told him. He asked him the third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" This time meeting him where he is, using the word phileo. He said, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I, phileo, love you." Peter is in deep shame about what he's done as far as denying Jesus. But here he is, Jesus, giving him a chance to be restored. And he does restore him, the threefold restoration of, I'm going to ask him 3 times now, does he love me? Because he denied me 3 times and he is now redeemed. And he's already redeemed with Jesus' blood.
Mm-hmm.
But that intimacy of having that communication with him and helping him understand, you are redeemed. I'm telling you, I'm asking you if you love me. We're having this line of communication together, and I will meet you where you are. Even if Peter is the one keeping score, Jesus doesn't keep score. He's like, I'm restoring you anyway. Even if you're holding on to that shame, I've already taken that shame. It's such a beautiful friendship that we can rely on Jesus to always forgive us, always meet us where we're at. We also need to, like you said, live in humility and not keep score for those things. We are meant to serve each other and not keep score of those things. It should never be like that. It should be open forgiveness. I mean, Jesus extends it, truly.
Yeah. And I like what you said, that we are meant to serve and not keep score, because we are meant to serve not to be served, but because we desire to. Mm-hmm. We're supposed to serve people because in serving people, we're serving God. Mm-hmm. When you're thinking about your friends are the only people in your life that you pick. Mm-hmm. You're not stuck with them. Your family, you're put in that. Your significant other, can't really help that. Your people you work with, everything is kind of, there's no attachment, like keeping you there. Your friends are the only people in your life that you pick. So it is such a beautiful thing to want to serve them because God has gifted you with them, with that choice to draw closer to Him. And in serving the people in your life, you're serving Him. What's the parable where he
Oh, that's my favorite parable.
Yeah, do you know it?
Yeah, it's Matthew 25:35. And it's basically the blueprint on how you should live your life in your friendships, but I think also with everyone that you meet too. So I'll read, starting at 35. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and take you in, or without clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and visit you? And the king will answer them, Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of these, least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. So I think everything you do for others, you do it for Jesus. We are made in His image. When we serve others out of a pure heart, we are doing that for Him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your friendships should draw you closer to Jesus. They should make you look more like Him, whether that be your friendship is so, and I think there's a different friendship for, God will use a different person to reveal different things to you or to allow you to see different things. Some friendships are a little more corrective, where you're going to have a friend who's going to help you in that area. Or some friendships are going to be more of a comfort, and you're going to have them play that role in your life. The people in your life are meant to be subparcels for what God calls us to do, and it's very important to recognize that. Not to say that you're limited to only doing that, or this friendship's only for this, but there are going to be some friendships in your life that are going to be more corrective, which is great because we're called to be building each other up. In James 5:16, we'll turn there really quick. Here we are. James 5:16 says, Therefore confess your sins to one another, pray for one another, so that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person is very powerful in its effect. We should be confessing our sins to each other. We should be praying for each other. We are going to have people in your life that in that sin, they're going to be there to correct you and guide you on the right path, or they're going to be there to comfort you until, you're ready to make that push, and they're going to help you make that push in those next steps. It's very important to recognize that in those areas and to be able to serve your friends and allow yourself to be served by your friends, to look more like the Lord, going back to the parable, to be serving Him at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. And that accountability should be met with gentleness and love. And you have this established relationship with them that's so beautiful that we can build each other up. That's what I want out of my life. I don't want someone just letting me do whatever my flesh wants. I need someone who's going to feed my spirit and build me up better and make me new and make me, my soul, more like Christ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's, the goal in everything, in every relationship, is to be more like Him and to draw closer to Him. And it's such a sweet thing, like I've said, to have those friendships to allow you to do that and to play those roles for you, to be those vessels for God.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you, as in your walk drawing closer to God, what do you think you seek in friendships now that you may have not before?
I seek a mutual desire to get to know God more. I have never experienced that before with anybody, prior to the friendships that I have now. And that mutual desire for God is so beautiful. I think also open and honest communication. I need that desperately. Before, I feel like, because I see longevity in my friendships, I don't see temporary. These are the people that I'm building my life with, the people that I anticipate that my kids will lean on in the future if they can't lean on me, for the ways that I will support my friends in the future. I hope that they hope to support me in, whether it be marriages or kids or my career, or like my passions and ambitions, the things that I have in store for ministry. I hope the people that I am surrounding myself with now are there. So I would say a mutual understanding of Christ, what he stands for, good morals, honesty, and just love, not just for me, but for everyone around them. Deep love and empathy for other people. What about you?
I would say the same thing, that mutual love for the Lord is so important to me. Not to say that I wouldn't be friends with unbelievers, because I am, and I have very deep and intimate relationships with them. But just someone who is going to understand me on that level, someone who sees me where I'm at and they love me, but they want to see me be the best version of myself. If there's more, if there's something I can grow on, I need people in my life to push me in that area. But again, love me for who I am, yeah, that kind of thing. And I also just I really appreciate friendships who are just so intentional and genuine in the way they treat not only myself but other people. That's something I really look for in people, the intentionality that you can see in people, and that looks different for everyone. But that's something I really appreciate in friendships, just that intimacy in that way.
Also, the ability to have fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like when my friends and I have fun.
I have so much fun with Jesus. I want to share in that fun with my friends.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much joy to be had.
Do you remember that one day? It was like a Friday night, and we were going to do something, but we ended up just staying in, and we were in the Word, and we were like, that was so much fun. And we were like, why don't we, like, this is so much fun. It was so funny. We were, like, so amped about, like, the fact that it was fun. That was funny.
I also think just, you bring since knowing you, I feel like you have fed my spirit, like my childlike, like worship spirit. You know how they're like, oh, bring up childlike worship. Like, you have fed that in me so much. Like, I love that I get to be like silly and joyful, and I feel unapologetic about it. Yeah. And I really feel like you fed a lot of that in me. Like, you pulled that out of me. Like, that feeling of embarrassment or fear, you really like helped me like get over that, which has been so amazing and exciting.
Lexi, you're so sweet. I love when. As for you.
Wow.
It just turns into Lexi and Kisselle complimenting each other. No, but I mean it. Something, and I literally told you this the other day, and I'll say it again. I have never had a friend who just sees me, and I told you, I know, I do this every time. Like, the way that you see the most complex parts of me and make them so simple is like truly such a gift from God. And I've told you this too before. But yeah, being friends with you, like, I feel closer to God. I feel more connected to Him. And it's so important to have friendships like that. And it's something I didn't know I was lacking till I started building, with you and other people, like those God-centered friendships, or those friendships that are just, you can see so much of the love that the Lord has like put on the earth with people. And I think it's so important to find people that make you feel that make you feel safe, that make you not feel embarrassed, that make you feel good about yourself. Your friends should not make you feel, your friendship shouldn't be, I mean, there's going to be parts, where you're going to like have a little argument or X, Y, or Z, but your friends should not be constantly so quarrelsome. Like, you should not be, tense about this or that. Your friendships are meant to make you feel good about yourself. Your friendships are meant to make you have fun. Your friendships are meant to build you up. though the friendships are not meant to complete you, they're meant to complement you in so many ways. And I know, because I have experienced this, and I know people have expressed this to me, you sometimes settle for friends that aren't your people because it might seem easier, but no, find your people, because God has placed people around you to meet that are going to be your people, that are going to make you feel that way, because He wants us to feel that joy. He wants us to feel that love. He wants you to feel that connection that He so deeply desires with us. He wants with us, but He also wants us to have, He knows how we are. He knows sometimes we need maybe a little bit more of a tangible thing. So He has placed that on the earth for us. So find that and hold that dear and near to your heart, because it's a gift, truly.
Yeah. Your friends should be an addition. They shouldn't take away from you.
Yeah.
They should be building you better and not taking or hurting you. And I think that's so like important. And this is one of my favorite parts is John. We'll go back to John 15 again because I was saving it for later. Okay. So John 15, and I'll start in 12 this time. This is my command: love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I do not call you servants anymore, because a servant doesn't know what his master is doing. I have called you friends, because I have made known to you everything I have heard from my Father. You did not choose me, but I chose you. I appointed you to go and produce fruit, and that your fruit should remain. So whatever you ask the Father in my name, He will give to you. This is what I command you: love one another. To go back and say, where it says, you are my friends if you do what I command you. And He says, this is what I command: love one another. We are called to love each other deeply. That is having a friend in Jesus. Loving each other is having a friend in Jesus. I think it's just like the most beautiful thing to even hear now, thinking about that so many years ago. That was His command, and it still stands true today. How important that we were never meant to be lonely. We were never meant to feel burdened by one another. We were meant to share in each other's joy and take half of the sorrow. And again, like you said, complement each other, be an addition. And I can't think of anything more beautiful and Christ-like than that, truly.
I also love how Jesus is like, you're my friend. I know you. I'm your friend. And I chose you to be my friend. There's such a sweetness in that. Yeah. He's such a good friend. He's laid out time and time again so many examples of how to be a good friend, and shown us that He's a good friend in those deep ways of intentionality. And like you said, this is the living word. It was so long ago, and it still applies today in the way we should be walking with our friendships, and fellowshipping with one another, brothers or sisters or not. There's such a sweetness to that.
And I have such good friends.
You too. I also have such good friends.
And Jesus is my favorite friend.
It's my best friend.
Yeah.
Me and him were like this.
I just love what a good friend he is, what a good role model he is, and that he felt it so important to put that here.
Yeah.
In His word. Anything else?
No, I don't think so. How about you?
What's one of your favorite things to do as like friends together?
Oh, you and I?
Or just like in general?
Oh. With my friends, I love just, one of my favorite things is just being in my friend's presence. It's like when you're with your friends and it's all everyone's kind of mute, or if you're with one other friend, it's like mute, but you guys are just enjoying being in each other's presence. That is one of my favorite things to do with my people, is just to know that we can sit in the silence and we can be doing our own thing, but we're just enjoying each other's company. That truly is one of my favorite things. Me too, niece.
So good.
Yeah. What is one of your favorite things to do with your friends?
I love hosting my friends.
Oh, you're so good at it too. I was thinking about that on my way over here. I was like, dang, I'm so lucky to have a friend like Lexi that just loves to host her friends in the cutest little ways.
Thanks. I think I like it the most because I have a deep desire for my friends to love each other. Even if they're not from the same friend groups or whatever, I want my cousins and my family to love my friends. I want my friends to love my family.
Mm-hmm.
I want all of us to be able to sit at a big table and talk and eat. And I think that's also the way I grew up Italian. We always had dinners and stuff together, and I think it keeps a little bit of that alive for me.
Mm-hmm.
But something about having all of my favorite people in the same room is just so I love it. Just like you said, but sitting in their presence, even if I'm not speaking, even if I just get to enjoy having them there, I love that.
Yeah. You just see all your favorite people in one room.
Mm.
It is so nice.
Anything else?
What is one of your favorite ways to spend time with Jesus as a friend?
I love this question too. This is such a good question. I have 3 things. Should I name them all really quick?
Yeah.
Okay. I love getting coffee and reading the Word with my headphones on and praying, and I feel like Jesus is with me in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
Where before I didn't really like spending time alone, and now I love when I get to do things like that, spend intimate time, or even if I go outside and read and have my coffee. It doesn't even have to be coffee either. If I'm going to get a dessert really quick, things like that. Or I get to pray, and I know that I'm not alone for the first time. Where it's I don't have to feel lonely. I'm not only with myself, but I'm with Jesus. I think that's such a beautiful thing. And I also really like being in my room and kind of going to that secret place with him and spending intimate, long times praying and worship. Oh my goodness, I love worship. What about you? Sorry, I stole everything.
No. One of my favorite things to do, and I don't get to do this often, but I love it, is when I get to go on, because I'm a yapper. I'm a girl who likes to talk. So I love going on prayer walks with Jesus. I love going on prayer walks with Jesus. I love just walking around my house and I think because you're outside and you feel his creation. And sometimes I'll have my music and sometimes I won't, so I can hear his creation worshiping him, the wind, the birds, and just talking to him and just that intimate, one-on-one time. Or sometimes I won't even talk and I'll just be walking and just being in his presence. That is something I love. And I love worship the same way. I love a good worship night. I love listening to worship music. I love just spending that time with him. And just, it's like a little dance party with Jesus.
Yeah.
And it's so fun.
He's such a good friend.
Such a good friend.
We hope you enjoyed watching and talking about what a great friend Jesus is, but also what a great friend we have in each other, in our community. And hopefully, if you don't feel like you have close friends, reach out to us. We would love to be your friend.
Yeah, we love having friends.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye. Do you think that was cute?
Yeah.